From FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio, this is The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Handicapping all the football action, here's Rob Fischer and Lang Whitaker.
Hello, good people. Welcome to another edition of The Odds Couple. We are back because sports are back. Lang Whitaker is back. How are you, sir?
I'm well, Rob. How are you?
Baseball is back.
The Hatchet Man is here.
Hatchet Man, yeah. He'll be retiring here in a week. Yeah, there's a big press conference next week.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it should be great. Also, because baseball is back, we have a special guest joining us here in studio today. Craig Unger, president of the Redbirds, is with us. Thanks for joining us, Craig. How are you?
No, I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me.
I saw you, when I saw you today, I didn't see a smile on your face because you were wearing a mask.
Yes.
But then when we got in here, I can tell you're very excited about baseball getting started.
I wore my spring training polo. I got this the very last day of spring training. I was down in Jupiter when it shut down.
Yeah.
And so this is my spring training polo today. I'm so happy baseball's back.
Yeah, and it seems as though with baseball coming back, all of the chaos of whether or not they were going to play, how many games they were going to play, the bickering back and forth. We're focused on games, and games are. I think so.
I hope so, because that was the most dismaying part of all this. Was like, come on, guys, just get it together. Can we just play? Let's go. Like we were watching Korean League games for the last 3 months. Like, can we just get our games going too? Like, so I'm glad they're back, and I hope that we can just focus on that now. As we're getting to the point where guys are in camp and some of the guys who went through quarantine are getting out, getting ready to play, and I'm ready for this to start.
Yeah, and Craig, being involved in baseball, we've seen it throughout the years. The owners and the players, and it's always a very stubborn negotiation at times, and it was really a bad look for the game, but hopefully now that's in the past once we get these games started.
You should not see how the sausage is made.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. I think it's as a fan and even someone in the industry, it's frustrating, I think, that you see it, that sometimes, that stuff's getting in the way. And look, it happens in all sports.
Yeah.
It happens across the board. And for whatever reason, it continues to be a public thing in baseball. And I think that it was a bad period there. I think now we're going to get past that, and I think the key is we got to play, we got to have a great season, and the other part is we got to roll into 2021 as well. And have that go out, go off without a hitch too.
Yeah, and it was a little dicey at times on whether or not we were going to have baseball, but Major League Baseball decided and came to terms and decided on a 60-game season. Here's the commissioner, Rob Manfred, talking about the 60-game schedule.
I know some people have talked about longer seasons, 60 too short. The reality is we weren't going to play more than 60 games no matter how the negotiation with the players went or any other factor. 60 games is the outside of the envelope given the realities of the virus. And, I think this is the one thing that we come back to every single day. We're trying to manage something that has proven to be unpredictable and unmanageable. I know it hasn't looked particularly pretty in spots, but having said that, if we can pull off this 60-game season, I think it was the best we were going to do for our fans.
Craig, was there a number that was too few games?
Anything under 60, I think.
You think?
For me, it's like, our good friend Mike Claiborne always talks about this, is that there are really only 3 times a year you look at the standings. First one's Memorial Day, and that would have been 60 games in.
Right.
So I think anything under 60, look, we're going to have some crazy stuff happen this year. When you're talking about looking at these divisions and say who's going to win, sure, I think there's some runaway things that you can look at. I think we could also sit here too and just draw names out of a hat for each division, and someone's probably going to be more accurate doing that, because when you look at Memorial Day over the past several seasons and several years, there are teams that are there in Memorial Day, and there's teams that are way out of it, too. That I think you're going to see some of that crazy stuff. So I think anything under 60 would have been it would have been sort of really challenging to look at it and sort of take it seriously.
You're a big baseball fan.
Yeah.
60 enough, good. Okay, yeah, we're
It's
getting
all
the
right.
season.
I mean, the funny thing, not funny, I guess, but the thing with baseball is always right. It's always been 162 games. So for decades, you have these same sample size to compare against, right? And you've always pitched it from 60 feet, and you've always had, it's always the same thing. And now we're going to have this one season that's going to be like, all right, let's just go for it. Let's just, and it's going to be a sprint, not a marathon.
Right.
And the baseball's always been a marathon, not a sprint. So I'm interested to see what happens. It's almost like a video game.
Yeah,
And
I've said it so many times about the NBA restart. The word that I keep coming back to is compelling, and I think this can be very compelling for baseball, with it being a sprint, a dash for the cash.
Yeah.
A 6-game win streak could make you one of the favorites out of the gate.
Yeah.
I mean, so many different things that can happen that I think it's, in one way, it's great because I think it could be great for baseball. Another thing, I think it could be terrible for baseball because people are like, why don't we just play 60 games?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that it's going to be good for it. I think, look, I was in favor of the 1-game wild card playoff. For that reason, it sort of created this drama around this one game that, in a lot of ways, for fans outside of those two teams was meaningless. Right. But you watched it because that one game meant everything. And I agree with you that you look at the schedules right now and you see some of these matchups and you look at this and you go, that's a huge series coming right out of the box. And you said a 6-game winning streak, you've played 10% of your games and you're in a really good spot.
I used to be a fan of the 1-game wild card until the Cardinals got a questionable infield fly against the Braves a few years ago.
Not questionable.
Yeah.
It was not called.
Yeah. The one that bounced
Or
in
it
the
was
outfield?
called.
They
Yeah.
called it
It was
infield fly?
called.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was called.
It's all right.
Sorry. Well, it's going to be interesting strategy playing a shortened season. One team that's getting a lot of love is actually the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Did I say that correctly?
so.
Yes.
Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They're getting a lot of love. They got a new skipper, Joe Madden. He's one of the best in the business. He talked about the strategy for the upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean, from this point on, I think, guys that have gotten here kind of under the wire still, there's still time. Pitchers, if you have pitchers, you want to keep them. You just use them a little bit later, not earlier in the season. There's ways to, because you have enough, you have enough guys. So there's ways to work around it. But I think, obviously by the time we get to the actual exhibition games, it'll be clearer to us exactly who we think we're going to be able to utilize and not.
Angels plus 180 to make the playoffs, plus 650 to win the West, plus 2,800 to be world champs.
I mean, they got the best player in the game, right?
Yes, they do.
At the same time, his wife's going to have a child at some point here coming up.
That is
and
correct.
If you miss, say he
6
leaves,
games.
yeah,
6
7
games,
games,
yeah.
that's a tenth of the season. Like that's a chunk of the season.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
I don't know.
Is he the only guy in any of the big major sports where the best player in that sport, nobody knows what he looks like?
Yeah.
Mike Trout could walk in this room right now. I have no idea what he looks
I
like.
was thinking about that with Rob Manfred. He could walk in here and I wouldn't know what he looks
but
like.
isn't
either.
that
But
good?
think about it, like LeBron James. You know what LeBron James looks
Sure.
like. Football, whether it's when you say Tom Brady, Drew Brees, whoever. If they walked in, you know what those guys look like.
Craig, we've talked about it for years, about the marketing of baseball players, and Mike Trout in particular, because he's in a huge market, yet they're the second team in that market. It's kind of forgotten about. They play on the West Coast. All of the things that go into not knowing what Mike Trout looks like. But this is an opportunity right now for baseball to have games on to showcase their best players. This is a great opportunity for Mike Trout to be showcased because in 60 games, he could do unthinkable things in 60 games.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a reality to baseball having a marketing problem from that, where the superstars are not recognizable. They wear hats, they wear helmets, their faces are not exposed, and it's a very regional game. It's a very regional game. All the RSNs are set up that way. I agree. I think that this is an opportunity here for baseball to look at these 60 days, 66 days, whatever the full season is, to be able to really push players out there, get them some national exposure, put up ridiculous, numbers within a 60-day period. I think that's what we're going to see too. I think we're going to see some players come out and do some amazing things.
Guys
over
threatening
60
for
days.
400.
I think that's a possibility.
Yeah.
That's a real possibility. And you could have a pitcher that's going to win every game they pitch.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at a starter that's going to throw 12 games.
Could go 12. Sure.
Could go 12-0.
Well, are teams going to use 5-6 man rotations? Probably.
I've seen 5 for the most part, but I know a few have talked about the 6, which makes a lot of sense. But the one thing I think the starters are way ahead of where the hitters are, and that's where I think you're going to see some other interesting things because there's nothing like live pitching.
Right.
Yeah. And the pitchers have never sort of dropped out since spring training.
Right.
When you're watching some of these exhibition games going on, these guys are pitching 6 and 7 innings.
Right.
And everyone else has the mentality that it's the beginning of the year, they're going to go 4 or 5 and you're going to go through the bullpen. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to see pitchers throw complete games starting in week 1.
I think this Angels team's compelling not only because of Mike Trout, but picking up Rendon from Washington, also having Albert Pujols, who's still going to hit 260. Hit you in this shortened season, 12, 13 home runs, knock in 40. I mean, he's still going to give you enough in that lineup. But also Shohei Ohtani. And you know, Craig, from us talking for years about my interest in him, to be a guy in a 60-game schedule who's back healthy. We've forgotten about him because he was out all of last year.
Right.
He's going to be in the rotation for the Angels. And on the days he's not pitching, he's going to be the DH. And I think that could be something special to watch.
I think that's going to be part of one of the compelling stories this year, is to get a chance to showcase these two-way players, which is becoming a thing that you're even seeing within the draft, that you saw some more players being drafted that way. The Cardinals drafted one as well. That's a two-way player. I think that is sort of the future of the game, especially as you're going through a world where the universal DH is going to be in place. You're going to want better athletes, and you're going to want to see that. I agree. I think the Astros win the West, but the Angels are the team that I like. I love to watch.
Are the Astros going to cheat this year? That's the question.
It's going to be a lot tougher
if they can get away with it.
If you're not cheating, you're not really trying.
That's right. Yeah, no, I like the Angels, and I love the Angels manager too. Joe Madden's, I think he's one of the best in the game for sure. All right, we'll take a break here on the Odds Couple, talking a little Major League Baseball as the season getting underway this week. We'll come back, talk about the Cardinals and the Braves and some other young teams that could be ready to flourish, and maybe some surprises as well in this shortened season. It's the Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
The debate is whether he's a star or a superstar right now, which is what the headline and sort of the tweet suggests. But I'm liking that discussion right now with Ja Morant at point guard.
Tune in to grindcitymedia.com to follow Michael Wallace and Lang Whitaker as they debate the biggest topics in the NBA, the Grizzlies, its IMH show. Mike and Lang will share their humble opinions on the hottest league water cooler news, providing insight, analysis, and a little heat. Watch and read weekly by visiting grindcitymedia.com or follow on Twitter at grindcitymedia today. What's up, Grizzlies fans? I'm Megan Triplett, and I have some exciting news to share. We have a new app. That's right. It's a 3-in-1 experience that you don't want to miss out on. Check this out. The app will keep you up to date on all of the Grizzlies stats and latest news. If you're looking to see what events are going on at FedEx Forum, that can all be found on the app as well. Plus, if you want to see more of me and the rest of the Grind City Media team, like Chris Vernon, Lang Whitaker, and Mike Wallace, there's a section for all that. It is 365 days of content to keep you in touch with all things Grizzlies, FedEx Forum, and GCM. And did I mention you can also purchase and manage tickets on the app? The app does it all. Download it now.
Hey kids, tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. for a Grizzlies youth basketball virtual workout presented by Nike. These 20-minute sessions will help improve your ball handling, conditioning, and overall game as you train with Grizz Camp coaches and special guest instructors. All you need to participate is a YouTube access and a ball. Subscribe at Grizzlies Youth Basketball to join or follow at MemGrizzYouth on social media to learn more.
Welcome back to GrindCityMedia.com, live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Now, here's more of the Odds Couple, Rob Fischer and Lang Whitaker.
Don't miss the newest Grind City Media show, Rise and Grind, with Jessica Benson and Megan Triplett. This duo brings a fresh, fun, and energetic double shot of morning vibes to catch you up on the latest in sports, entertainment, pop culture, and everything Memphis, with some completely biased, unfiltered discussions and a side of slightly above average jokes. Tune in, grindcitymedia.com, Grind City Media, or on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch the show live, or download each episode daily and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud. Today, I've enjoyed the program here in this first week of Rise and Grind. Craig Unger with us here today, as well as we talk a little Major League Baseball. Craig Unger, president of the Memphis Redbirds. Obviously, a tough news for the Redbirds and all of minor league baseball with the season being canceled. I just had to go along with what's up. What are the ramifications? I mean, how bad is this for the operation here?
Yeah, it's a big blow. We're going to go roughly, assuming we start on time in 2021. I did the math a little while back. It's about 585 days between games.
Wow.
When you think about that closure from any business closure, take a business, a restaurant, whatever you want to say, and say you're going to be closed for 585 days with no revenue, with no meaningful income. It's a big blow. So it's, we've sort of turned the page on it. It's sort of weathering the storm now through the rest of the year. We've had to trim our operation pretty significantly, in terms of obviously what we do. A lot of our expenses tied to the games,
right.
But it has been, we've had to, take a hard look at the operation. I think in the end we come out strong. With it's allowed us to sort of take a step back and sort of evaluate everything and sort of rebuild whenever we come back next year. But I think it's a tough blow for minor league baseball across the board too.
Sure.
This is an amazing market. Yeah.
That was my thought. Was the bigger question to me is what you guys provide to the Cardinals as a development standpoint. What happens to those guys now? Like, what do they do this summer?
Well, the good news is for, AAA ball players, they are part of, most of them are part of the 60-man pool.
Right.
So 30 of them will travel with the big league club, at least for the first couple of weeks as they trim rosters. The other 30 will go to Springfield, Missouri, to the AA team. And we had discussed that with the Cardinals in advance. They knew we had soccer at AutoZone Park, the rest of the summer. That at the time it looked like we were going to have soccer back. They fully own the Springfield Cardinals as well. So, and it's a little bit closer. Springfield's about a little over 3 hours, whereas here we're 4 hours away. So we were fine with that, but they're gonna have those players housed there to be able to call those players up. Where the real challenge is the players down below that. Those AA, single A players, some of those free agent kids that were might have been drafted this year who didn't get drafted because the draft was 5 rounds, that got signed as a free agent. A lot of them are in wood bat leagues now, and they're trying to play in these other leagues. But I think that's a big part of what we're going to see going forward is there's going to be a development gap, inside of baseball. Because most of the players, have been, sent back overseas as well. When you talk about Dominican and, Venezuela, now again, a lot of the clubs have Dominican camps that they run.
Right.
But, from really playing meaningful baseball games and travel and building sort of that, as we've seen through here, there is a camaraderie that goes with the players that are here, eventually go up to St. Louis together. They get used to playing together. Yeah. They know each other, and that's in every minor league system. That's why you do it, because those guys, as they go up, they're all used to playing together and being in the system.
Well, we're looking forward to getting back to AutoZone Park, certainly, to watch a little baseball. We can get back to AutoZone Park with soccer, though.
With soccer.
With 901 FC this weekend, so that'll be a lot of fun to watch. Speaking of the Cardinals, Cardinals come into this season one of, I think, 4 teams that I've seen to win the National League Central Division. Cubs, Cardinals, Reds, and the Brewers. And it's this 60-game thing that it's wide open for everybody. What do you like about the Cardinals?
I like that a lot of the team is back. There wasn't a lot of turnover. This is a team that has a lot of chemistry from last year that a lot of people forget went to the National League Championship Series. It was an ugly series.
Yeah, it was terrible.
But they went to the NLCS.
But the series before that was fantastic.
It was great.
Awesome.
Just went the wrong way.
Right. I like that. I really like the lineup too. I think, this is a great opportunity for Goldschmidt to come out early. We're in those summer months. These guys have had a chance to work some things out through the summer camp. Matt Carpenter seems to be swinging the bat really well. Colton Wong had a bit of a breakout season last year. Expect a lot from him as well. But again, there's depth in pitching too. When you're bringing back a bunch of guys and some stuff, I think that's what I like about the Cardinals right now.
Carpenter is, to me, the X factor for the Cardinals this season because the last 2 years, after 60 games, he was hitting about $120.
Yep.
That can't be the case.
No.
I mean, he's got to be much better than that, and I think that's huge for the Cardinals if he can swing the bat early in the season. That'll be big. Mike Schilt, he is the skipper of the Cardinals, talked about the team being ready.
I really am comfortable and confident that this group is going to compete regardless of circumstance, regardless of opponent. I think it's a quality trait in general with this team. I can see that they, we're not going to play inter-squads forever, but this group is enjoying the competition, enjoying the fact that they want to win, enjoying the fact that they're out there playing baseball. So I don't think the monotony is, I'm not overly worried about it with this group because they're just such alphas.
Plus 2,800 to win the World Series, plus 160 to make the playoffs, plus 250 to win the division for the Cardinals this season.
This is your teams. You guys,
you're wearing the shirt. It's what we do. It's a Cardinal thing. Yeah. Braves, however, your team, and the other local team here in the Mid-South.
Well, the Braves are America's team, really.
Okay. Sure. Team,
that would be the Yankees.
The Braves, second best odds to win the World Series out of the National League, only behind
the Dodgers,
the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
Braves have progressed. 2 years ago, I think they were ahead of schedule. No. And played really well and competed down to the end. Last year, they made a great progression. This year, I would expect the same.
We'll see what happens. They lost Josh Donaldson. That's a huge blow. He was amazing.
He was big.
Last year.
He was bigger than what you thought.
We got your guy to kind of replace him offensively, Ozuna. Hopefully, he can come in and fill in some of those home runs and the RBIs. But we'll see. Markakis isn't going to play. Freeman just got back. He and Will Smith. I don't think Will Smith's even back yet. The reliever. From the COVID, they were both out. So we'll see. I wonder the pitching, we got such a young rotation. Felix Hernandez was going to be in it. Now he's out too. So it's a sort of a weird thing. But to me, the Donaldson one is huge. Like people I've talked to there, they're like, he was kind of the soul of that team last year. And to have him gone, see what happens if they can replace that production.
Acuna might be the best player in the game.
100%. Yeah.
If he's not, if he's not, he has potential to be the best player in the game.
No, I like the Braves. I think that's they've assembled. They've done exactly what you said. They've assembled a really good team. It was very methodical. You could see when they started that process a few years ago where they were going. It's a tough division. There's been a lot of things that have happened in that division too. A Phillies team that was not very good a few years ago, and they're spending money as well too. But I think when you look in that division, the Braves are definitely the team to beat.
Yeah, and the Braves are going to be a lot of fun to watch for sure. Freddie, always enjoy watching him, but Acuna, you think he's going to get better. Albies gets better. Swanson continues to grow, and the pitching's there. And I think very similar to the Cardinals. We've talked about it before, Lang. I think the managers are very similar. Snicker and Schilt, just two guys who are lifers in the organization who the players respect.
And they just kind of want to get out of the way. They just want to do their job and go home.
Let the players play.
And that kind of follows the Bobby Cox, regime we had forever in Atlanta. It's the same sort of mindset, I think, from the top down. You talked about that, like the Braves have, Acuna and Albies. Like the one thing I know when I watch a game every night is it's going to be fun. Like one of those guys is going to do something fun and sort of unbelievable, and you can't really see it coming. Acuna, especially, like last year, every game he was hitting home runs, or even when he did dumb stuff, like when he got thrown out at second trying to hit a home run and he's jogging and stuff like that. You kind of live with it because he's going to be incredible down the road. He's already he just missed 40-40 last year.
Have you gotten to the point here where you just say it's just Acuna being Acuna?
I coined that phrase. So I don't know. They're so much fun to watch. We just got to see like Soroka, Max Fried, Foltynewicz, like if those guys can hold up, as the pitching staff. And they signed Cole Hamels. He's not ready to go. He's going to start on the IR. So they're going to need, I think, at some point, someone in that pitching staff. The rotation is going to have to step up.
Brian Snitker, the skipper of the Braves, talks about the Braves camp.
I feel good about it. I was talking to George about it. I don't have any doubt that the pitchers are going to be stretched out to where we anticipated they would be. And after watching the inter squads and the amount of time that we have left, I think position players are going to be in a good shape too. They're all getting a lot of batting practice. A lot of live at bats in the game situations and running the bases and all. I feel good about where we're at right now. After a week, we're a little farther along than when I probably thought we would be when we started.
I can also just say I can think like a team president, Craig, because I tweeted this out for the Braves to take. They've got to, when Fried pitches, Max Fried, F-R-I-E-D, they have to have a Max Fried chicken sandwich.
Yeah, no question.
Absolutely.
Right? Like
Absolutely.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. That one's too easy.
Yeah.
Braves plus 2,000 to win the World Series. They're actually minus 110 to make the playoffs. So certainly one of the favorites this year. But as we've said, I think one of the great things about this season, the compelling thing about this season, is going to be how many teams can be in this race. National League East, I think you got 3, maybe 4 that could be in it. Central, 4 that could be in it. The West, probably the Dodgers. Might be the one division, but you have a team like the Padres, who people are thinking can make the playoffs.
And I would say the Diamondbacks as well too. They're always there, and they can be a surprise.
American League East, that's the other one like the Dodgers, where you look at kind of one team in the Yankees, but in a shortened season, Tampa could really give them a threat. Tampa could be a wild card team. Central, you're looking at 3 teams: Cleveland, Minnesota. A lot of people love the White Sox because they're a young team that doesn't know any better. And then in the West, you have Houston, which is the big favorite, but with Joe Madden at the Angels, I think they're a contender. The A's are always there as well. So I think it's wide open, and in 60 games, it's wide open for anybody.
As I said before, I think you could pull names out of a hat and maybe have just as good of. There's going to be a surprise out there of some team that we're not even talking about. Didn't even make this list.
That gets off to a good start.
That's going to be off to a good start, and everyone's going to be chasing them. And again, if you can do that over a 10, 14-day period, it's going to be one of those things that's going to be, if you play 500 ball the rest of the year, you're in.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen.
As a Braves fan, the only thing we know for sure is that the Mets are going to do something hilarious at some point along the way. I just know that's going to happen. I love it.
Yeah, that'll probably happen. You're exactly right.
No, I know it will.
I know. We'll take a break here on the Odds Couple. We'll come back. We'll look at some bold predictions for the upcoming season. Also, we'll have our picks for the upcoming season. That's all coming up here on the Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
In everything we do, defensive activity, offensive execution, play together, have an edge about us. Just play with an edge. Play with an edge and play together.
Durant, blocked for Jaron, blocked by James. Dylan Brooks with authority. Tyus Jones to Brandon Clark. A turn and gun. He got it. Jones for 3. Stolen, blocked by Jaron.
Yeah, stay together, Blue. Stay together. Way to roll me, kid. Let's leave it out there.
John Moran with elevation.
I love the haircut. They tell me you've been getting beat up over it, Zach.
They say I look like I'm 25. I was in somebody said I was in Vegas. They said, "Is that Zion?" I said, "I paid away for little." I said, "That's my little brother."
Tune into grindcitymedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or on the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch Chris live or download each episode daily, and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today.
Hey Memphis, get ready to rise and grind. I'm Jessica Benson.
And I'm Megan Triplin. We have some exciting news. You can join us weekday mornings at 8 a.m. for Rise and Grind. It is your new favorite morning show.
We're going to bring you a fresh, fun, double shot of morning vibes to catch you up on everything you need to know in sports, entertainment, pop culture, and of course, the 901.
You can check us out on grindcitymedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or on the official Grizzlies mobile app.
Or if podcasts are more your thing, you can stream each episode and subscribe today at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud. For more information, visit grindcitymedia.com.
Welcome back to the Odds Couple on grindcitymedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio, here's the odds couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, Grizz Nation, download the all-access, all-in-one Grizzlies mobile app. Get 3 experiences with one app, including a fresh Grizzlies look and feel, along with access to FedEx Forum events and Grind City Media news and notes on all things Grizzlies, NBA, and more. From podcasts to purchasing tickets and more, the new Grizzlies app has it all. Upgrade your experience and download the Grizzlies app today at the App Store and Google Play. Welcome back, everyone, to the Odds Couple as we talk Major League Baseball today as the season is getting underway. Craig Unger joining us, president of the Redbirds, as well. We've talked some Cardinals. We've talked some Braves. We'll have our predictions coming up here in moments. The Washington Nationals are the defending world champions. If we forgot, because that was a long time ago.
I tried to block it out.
Nationals coming back as the world champions. They're plus 2,500 to win the World Series, minus 115 to make it. They should be in the mix again. They're going to be in that mix in the National League East.
Yeah, they're still really good, but I think
not if they start like they did last year, though.
Well, but that again, that comes down to the 60-game thing is going to be very interesting. I think there's going to be great teams that are going to have a bad start, and there's going to be bad teams that'll have a good start. But look, the Nationals will be in the mix. I think most people have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy offseason, but I think when you look at that NL East, they're going to be right up there.
Last year when we kept saying things like, well, if the season ended after 60 games, they wouldn't have. Well,
now we find out.
Then you always say, well, the season doesn't end after 60. This year, the season's ending after 60 games. So you get a start like that, a potential world championship team, you might be done.
You might not make the playoffs.
Might not make the playoffs, yeah.
I think that's the real thing. It's not like you got to win your division. You just got to get into the playoffs. And if you're one of these teams, that's rounding into form a month or two from now, just get there. You don't have to win the division right off the bat. Just get there and you'll be all right. I mean, the Nationals lost a big part of their team, though. So, we'll see what happens without Rendon. And
that's big.
Happens. Yeah.
Dave Martinez, he's the manager of the Washington Nationals, talked about his team being ready to go.
This is a testament to these guys on what they did, in the past, 3 months that they were, at home. I mean, these guys really took it upon themselves to stay ready. And they look good. I think Howie, man, they both look really slim, but Howie looks really good. His legs look fresh. He's running well. I watched Soto take fly balls in the outfield today. Took some in center field as well, and he's moving around pretty good. So that's a good indication to me that these guys are not that far off.
Always love hearing that Howie Kendrick's looking good.
His legs are looking slim.
Had one of the greatest Octobers ever last
year.
year. That was rather memorable for him. So love Howie Kendrick. Bleacher Report came out with some bold predictions for the upcoming season. They have White Sox shortstop Tim Anderson hitting 400. Do we have someone threaten 400 this year in a 60-game season?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Is it Mike Trout? I mean, do we just go ahead and go with the best player in the game?
I don't know. I think there could be some surprises out there. I think there could be somebody else too that's sort of this, sort of.
Tim Anderson would be a surprise to hit 400.
Yes, that's why I sort of like raised. I'm glad the question isn't him. Is it somebody else? The answer is yes.
Yeah, I think it's probably more likely you get somebody who hits 380, 390 or something. 400 is
still
significant. Still, yeah.
They say Cardinals right-handed pitcher Jack Flaherty wins the Cy Young Award with a sub 1.00 ERA. Do we have a pitcher go under 1? Starting pitcher.
Yes, and I go back to the same as I think you have a chance of a 12-0 season or a lossless season. You might be 10-0. You might be something. I think that's legit. And yes, I think that you could see a Bob Gibson-esque ERA this year.
I was thinking Greg Maddux-esque ERA. It's the same thing, pretty much. I mean, but yeah.
They say Pete Alonso will lead the league with 25 home runs. The over-under for home runs is 20.5, which is crazy. I mean, considering the long ball era, to think 20.5 could lead the league, but in 60 games, 20 is a big number.
It is. That's one a series, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the over, though.
You think?
Yeah. Sosa once did it in a month.
You just need one guy to do it.
one guy to do it, right?
Yeah.
So,
I would think somebody would do it as well.
Sosa, you said?
Yeah. I mean, he did 20 in a month.
Yeah. He did some other things, too.
Well, that's right. Carlos Correa will not commit an error. That one's kind of fun. Once went 75 games without an error.
Well, I don't know. I think that one to me, I think no. Because I think if that 75 game was probably like in the middle of the season after you had a couple weeks, and so
right.
So I don't know. I also wonder like what kind of shape the fields will be in at these places.
I'd imagine they're going to be spectacular.
You think they'll be
this
great?
Is, I mean, this is
because they've actually had time.
This has been a groundskeeper's dream, by the way.
I didn't think about that.
No one's playing on it.
I was thinking the opposite way. That makes sense.
To me, I think the other interesting thing that we haven't talked about yet are rule changes.
Yeah.
And some of the things there and how that affects some of the outcomes of games, how that changes some of the strategy. You obviously have the 3-batter minimum for pitchers, the runner starting on second base as well in extra innings. We've been doing that here in Memphis for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
It changes the strategy quite a bit in extra innings, shortens the games.
No doubt.
Right.
DH obviously changes everything.
DH changes everything in the National League. So I think those are other things that have to be factored into this.
I do have some experience with the 3-batter minimum because I've been playing MLB The Show, and they have those rules in the game.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I've found is you don't have to face 3 batters if you end the inning.
Correct.
So mostly what you do is you bring in a pitcher with 2 outs or 1 out. And then the guy pitches to one guy, and then you swap him out at the next inning.
Yeah, but that's going to be a lot more strategy, and I think one of the other strategizing things that we're going to look at is you're not going to have your travel day lineups as much as you used to.
Yeah.
That afternoon game where you're about to travel and you just throw everybody out there, you're not going to have those because every game is going to be important.
Yeah, I think that you're going to see, some of those players. I mean, used to we'll talk Cardinals is Yachty. Like I guarantee Yachty is in there with Schilt right now saying, I'm playing all 60 games.
Absolutely.
He's going to want to play every single day. And frankly, there are going to be some of those guys that have had days off typically that I think they're going to have the shot of they're going to play every game this year.
All right, time for our picks for the upcoming season. We'll start with mine. Fish's 5. I'm going with the Braves as the National League champion. I just think they've shown growth year after year, and I think they'll continue to do that.
I think you're trying to jinx us.
Yeah, that could be too. American League champ, I'm going with the Yankees. It seems too easy of a pick, but man, that lineup and that pitching staff is just ridiculous. And I'm going to take the Yankees to win the World Series. My National League MVP, Paul Goldschmidt. I thought he'd do it last year in his first year with the Cardinals. I think a bigger year this year from Goldie. I'll go with him in American League MVP. I'm going with Mike Trout. Best player in the game, and I think a small sample size, we're really going to see how great of a player that he is.
I went pretty much the same as you, except I had the Braves winning it all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just figured I can't go otherwise here. And also, I think Acuna, I think this is an MVP season for him. Like, he was so good last year, and he's so young, and he showed up to camp this year, and they were talking about 50-50 from him this season. And that was his goal, he said, and now, that's probably not going to happen. I don't know. I might not want to put it past him. But I feel like this is his breakout year, and he's ready to do it. So I got him for the MVP. And I go Trout, I guess, in the West, too.
Yeah.
But the Yankees, to me, they look pretty awesome. And, Judge is looking like he's looking right now.
Getting Garrett Cole, I mean, my goodness. Roser.
I went with the Giants in the National League.
Wow.
That's my National League team. This
has nothing to do with you being a 49ers diehard.
No, like Barry Bonds was my favorite baseball player growing up, so I always liked the Pirates. And then when he went to the Giants, I was so young, I just followed the Giants. So I've always liked him since. But no Buster Posey, who actually is the only player on the team I know, since Madison Bumgarner apparently no longer plays for him. Shows you how much I keep up with baseball.
Apparently.
And my American League team is the Yankees. So I'm going to take the Yankees in the American League. I'll take the Yankees to win the World Series. Acuna as an NL MVP, Aaron Judge as AL MVP.
San Francisco Giants.
Who I think, if you had to ask who is the face of baseball, I think it is Aaron Judge. I think he's the most recognizable player in the game.
Yeah, he's on the cover of all the games, the video games.
He's also
right now,
a monster. He doesn't look like a baseball player.
San Francisco Giants plus 725 to make the playoffs this year.
So make some money.
You can make some money with that one.
Let us know when you're going down to the casinos.
Yeah.
Boo to the Dodgers, boo to the Red Sox.
Craig, as we call it this week, the Unger games.
I like that.
See what we did
that was good.
Right.
That was good.
You kind of homered as well.
I have to, right?
100%.
I went with the Cardinals to win the National League. The Yankees to win the American League. I think they're really, really good. To win the World Series, I mean, I'll say St. Louis, but to me, having a Cardinals-Yankees World Series is about as awesome as it gets.
Yeah.
National League MVP, Acuna, and AL MVP is Judge. I think this is a breakout year for him. I think the shortened season and the excitement sort of around it, I think it's made for him.
We keep talking about short bursts from guys. He has a short 6-game burst where he hits 7 homers. I mean, that's
right.
huge number in a shortened season.
Yeah. I mean, you could have one guy carry a series, and again, we talked about it how many times already in this 45 minutes that 6-game series could be what throws you over the top. And I think we're going to see those bursts out of those players, and that's what you're going to remember because of that shortened season. It's not going to be, they went through slumps and how they ended. You're going to remember these explosions of offense. I think Goldie's a guy like that too, that could have a huge burst for the Cardinals, and all of a sudden you're like, wow.
Yeah. Watching soccer, I haven't noticed really. I mean, it hasn't affected my viewing not having fans in the stands. Watching the only basketball I've seen so far is the basketball tournament.
Right.
Not having fans, I could envision what the NBA will be like, and I think it'll be very interesting to watch and compelling to watch. That I don't think it'll obstruct my viewing not seeing fans. What about baseball? Not having fans. Well, how will we see it? Will it be different?
It's going to take some adjustment, I think. I think every game's going to feel like a spring training game.
Because it's tough not to show shots where you don't see foul balls. You see the huge parts of the stadium.
Every pitch that you're taking from behind home plate. I mean, the teams are going to do the cardboard cutouts and stuff, but you're going to still look at that and be like, and it's going to be weird seeing the players sitting in the stands with these tents, built over the top of them, and all this stuff. These stadiums are just so big. I mean, it's to me like imagining the NFL playing with nobody there, and you're like doing these, the blip. But again, the NFL does a great job of how the game is framed for TV. Baseball's just so different.
I watched the Braves inter-squad game the other night from their field in Atlanta, and it was a little weird. But you don't really notice like the crowd not being there, the noise and stuff. I think where it's going to be is when we get to game 30, 40, and games actually start to matter. And somebody hits a big home run,
moments.
And there's no noise, and it's just quiet, except for the players yelling. Probably,
Right.
So, I mean, maybe they end up miking up the player section or something like that. The other weird part was the sideline reporter for the Braves game the other day was alone by herself in the hallway. Like, there's nobody in the stands. Those concession stands are closed, and she was just by herself in the hallway there. So.
Shout out to them sideline people. They got tough jobs, man.
They do.
Tough jobs.
Yeah.
Including the NBA.
Of course, Fish giving shout outs to the sideline guys.
Absolutely.
And women.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of The Odds Couple. Next week, we will be back talking NBA as the season will be getting underway. Craig Unger, thanks for coming by, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Great talking baseball with you. Yeah. I know you're fired up. I'm fired up. Lang's fired up. I hope we meet in the playoffs again this year. Too. I'll even take you on, Roser. Let's do that. Although Cardinals haven't had much luck against the Giants.
No, they haven't.
No. It's been a while since they had some great luck against the Giants, but it's been a while. All right. Thanks, Roser. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks, Kimball, as well. Thank you for watching. This has been The Odds Couple talking some baseball. Enjoy the baseball season as it gets underway. We'll talk again next week talking some NBA here on The Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
You've been listening to The Odds Couple from the American Home Shield Studio on GrindCityMedia.com. Tune in next week for more football handicapping with Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.